most important thing, obviously, is you need some device to hold the line and catch the fish. And this is what's called a tip-up. Okay, and basically all it is, this is kind of, one's kind of busted up, so I thought I'd use it for demonstration purposes. But this is just a spool, and it has a specialized fishing line on it, known as ice fishing line. And ice fishing line is different than traditional monofilament line because it can withstand the cold temperatures and work. So basically, you would just put your line on of interest depending on what type of fish you're going to be catching. So if you're like out in Minnesota and you're going to be catching like gigantic northern pike, you probably want a heavier test line. I just use a 20-pound test line or 30-pound test line for the fish in New Hampshire, and it's pretty strong stuff. But anyway, so you put it on the spool here in a traditional way that you would do that, and this part hangs under the water, and then this horizontal part will rest on the hole in the ice. And what's really cool is that when the fish hits, and I'll just show you how this works here. You basically loop this thing on this metal ledge, and when the fish hits and it pulls out line, you'll see it. Your flag goes up because this thing twists and the flag goes up. So then you know you have a fish on. And the rule is the first person to see the flag gets the fish. So flag up usually is what we yell. You know, it's kind of corny, but it's fun. So the other things you're going to need besides the line and the tip up, that's what that's called, is you're going to need a couple split shot weights, because when you're going to use live bait usually for this, so you're going to want the minnow to sink down to the bottom or near the bottom, and you have to do that with a little split shot weight. So I use these little ones, usually like size 7 works for me. You can go a little bigger if you want to. And you're going to need to know where the bottom is, because most of the fishing happens right above the bottom of the pond or the lake. And so usually you want to, before you even put any bait on, you want to put this on your hook. It clips on, it's a weight, and you let it sink all the way down, and it hits the bottom, and then when it hits the bottom, you crank it back up a little bit, so about a foot or so off the bottom, so the minnow can kind of swim around. And then you use this little bobber indicator. You put it right on your line, so you know where to stop putting out the minnow when you feed it down to the bottom. And I'll show you this in real time as well. Now the other thing you're going to need is a hook, and since we're using live bait, I traditionally just use like like your old-fashioned simple cheap hook, and nothing fancy there. And I use number 2s usually for the minnows that we use, but you know, you can change that depending on how big your bait really is. So that's most of the equipment. We're going to talk about the ice auger in a second, but the other critical piece of equipment would be this, because you have to clear out your holes of ice. And you want to spend a little bit of money on this, because to get that ice out of the way is really important. If you buy a cheap little one, it's going to take you forever. And you'll see how this works in just a little bit. And of course, you're going to need a bait bucket. So this is the one I use. It's by Frabill. And you can just put a couple minnows in there, and it's kind of light, and it's easy to fill up with water. So your bait bucket's right there. You don't have to have one of these, but they're kind of fun because you can actually do some kind of traditional fishing. And they're short rods. You can see this is just about the length of my arm, because you can't really be too far away from your hole. So you're right over your hole, and if you want to do some like jigging with a little lure, you would. And so really there's nothing different than you would have, what you would do normally for jigging, is you just drop your line into the hole and just jig and catch some fish. It's kind of cool, because if you get a big one, trying to get a fish in with this little rod is kind of crazy, but it's great for like little perch and things like that. So often what we'll do is we'll dig a couple holes, put our tip-ups in, and then dig a couple other holes just to kind of jig with, because it gives you something to do so you don't just freeze on the ice.
After drilling the hole, you wanted to clean up the spot a little bit. First you had shoveled, as you can see why we shovel the snow away, so that we don't end up with a bunch of slush right around the hole. And the reason for this is that we do want the tip up to lie flat against the ice. Just gonna clean it up a little bit more, like this. If you have any remaining slush in the hole, you can also scoop that out. They have either plastic or metal scoopers, and you can get rid of any slush that's there. The reason for that is that the hole won't freeze up as quickly if you don't have slush in there, and the line can move more freely. We take what's called a sounder. It's basically it's over 1 ounce of lead that's wrapped in plastic, and it's got a little clip on the end. What we do is we're going to clip this onto the tackle, and we're going to let it go to the bottom. And then we're going to mark the area. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take up, since the line starts down here and this whole part is going to be underwater, we want to remove this length here. Then the terminal where the sounder is actually attached is not right where the hook is. So we want to take away another maybe 12 inches. And then, as I said before, we want it to be about 2 feet off the bottom. So this is actually where we're going to mark the line. You can use many things. Some people use a button. Some people use a small floater. The reason for the floater is that when the fish takes the bait, if it's a fish doing it, then the floater will disappear underwater. If it is actually just the wind that's hitting your tip up, then the floater will still remain right where it is. I also want a split shot. Now remember, in many places they require that you use tin for split shot because lead is no longer legal to use in the state of New Hampshire. So this is a tin split shot. And I'm going to hook it or clip it onto the line. Usually you do it about 12 inches up. So we're going to use maybe a 3.5 to 4 inch shiner. And the best place to hook these is, if you look at the dorsal fin, you want to hook it in the flesh just behind the dorsal fin. However, you want to make sure that you don't go too low in the fish, otherwise it'll go through the spine and you'll paralyze the back half of the fish. You want the fish to still be able to move while it's underwater. So you find the dorsal fin and you hook it just behind there. Like that. And as you can see, it's still moving. And then just drop it down. You can understand the reason for the sinker, because otherwise the fish wouldn't go down too far. And now take up any extra line there may be, like this. You just spool it back onto the tip up.
And let's just make note that little indicator is back up now.
And now you can see the little indicator is back up here. And then what you do is you hook the flag onto the shaft. And what will happen is, if the line gets pulled, this will spin and it'll release the flag like this. And then from a distance you can see the flag is up. So I'm going to put this down again, and then I'm just going to gently lay it down here. So usually what will happen is, especially if it's a larger predatory fish, it'll grab the minnow and then take off with it. And it'll go some distance. And once it's far enough, then it'll try to turn the minnow so that it can swallow it head first. And sometimes that takes a few minutes. In the old days, a lot of the old timers, they used to stand by the hole and they'd smoke a whole cigarette before actually checking it. And there is some argument to giving it a little bit of time. So we usually like to wait, you know, a couple of minutes. Now that rule is out if you can still see it spinning, because it means that it's still taking out line. So if it's still taking out line,
whoa!
Oh, see, it went again. Now it's.
So it probably got hooked right there, right?
Yeah.
That's a great demo of that. Wow, and it really jumped too.
Yeah, and the whole thing actually moved.
Isn't it maddening though, Les, trying to wait though? It's scary. It's just,
yeah.
You feel like you're going to lose your fish, and it goes against every instinct, right?
Over here, you don't. There's no give, so you don't want to accidentally yank it out of its mouth. So I'm going to start pulling back.
Oh man, that's a big one, Les. Oh, I've been fishing these waters a long time. I get a sense when you have a real fish on. Oh, maybe not. Do you think it got off?
I think it may have gotten off. Shoot. And as you can see, it's down there in the weeds.
So I think we can just kind of go for it and see.
Carefully remove it.
And this took out a lot of line. Ugh. Anything?
I'm feeling something. Yup, I'm feeling something.
Okay. Is it?
Whoa, okay. It's got some size to it.
It does, good.
You gotta be careful. Whoa, okay.
Is he running?
Yep, he keeps wanting to run, and I don't really want to jerk the hook out of his mouth.
Oh, good. I knew this was going to be a nice one. Look at that. Look at that.
He doesn't want to come out of the hole. Just be careful. Remember, try and lay the line so that it's not in a pile.
Whoa.
Whoa. Okay. I mean,
this is why it's important
if somebody tried to drag me underwater, I probably would be fighting pretty hard too. So that's basically what we're doing to this guy.
Oh, dude, this is awesome.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, you know what a magical day here in rural New Hampshire.
Whoa!
Holy crap!
That's a nice little pickerel.
Is it? How's it hooked?
Oh, you come down.
Whoa!
Whoa! Okay, it's all right.
So, that's a nice one. It's a nice fish. Look at that thing. I don't know how many inches.
Good. Just go for it.
So, go ahead and
Holy shit.
take the tip up out. Whoa. Okay, it's not very far down.
Okay. We get another flag too, guys.
Whoa.
Flags are popping everywhere.
Whoa.
You got him? Oh!
Yep. Another one.
Yes, another one. Oh, we're just hitting them, nailing them.
Like, yeah, way over here. Perfect. Now, I remember your dad kind of slowly pulled this in and kind of organized it without getting tangled.
So,
yeah, so
do I just slowly pull it in?
Slowly pull it, and then when you feel like there's resistance, set the hook a little bit.
Okay, then, so do I, okay.
And kind of set the hook a little bit if you feel resistance.
Okay,
Just,
I feel resistance.
so jerk it a little bit. Now pull it up. Keep coming. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, keep coming. Just don't let the tension out. That's a key. You still got it?
Yep, they're still there.
Good.
Okay,
Bring
I
it
don't
right up.
want it to,
Yeah, keep bringing it up.
Okay,
If it gets hooked on the bottom, you just bring it out
I know.
like over there. Oh, if he wants to run with it, oh, that's good. They just sharpen. So let him run. Let him run. If he wants to run, let him run. Just give a little tension on it. Yeah.
Oh, what about that?
Yeah, keep coming. Whoa, it's okay. Let him go. Les, this is huge. It's huge. There, come on, keep going.
Okay.
And if he wants to pull, you let him run, okay? Because else the hook will come out. So just keep coming steady and fast. If he wants to run, and get it back in the middle. If he wants to run, keep coming now. Keep coming. It's important.
Okay.
Holy
Oh
shit!
my
It
God.
just came off.
Okay,
Oh,
get it,
Les, look at this thing.
Get it.
Camera.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. Holy cow.
Oh, go home. No, I'm not as good as you. This is keeping it is neat. Yeah, that's got weight to it. Holy crap. that's got weight to it. Now, remember, if I'm keeping constant pressure here, so the hook doesn't get dislodged. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, here we go. Oh, it's a perch.
Oh, nice yellow. It's a yellow perch.
Yeah.
Beautiful yellow perch.
So this is really good eating, folks. This thing actually fought more than some of the pickerel did. And so my friend's gonna keep this because he loves eating yellow perch, and we're big fans. So we don't take many, but this is definitely a keeper, right, Les?
Yes, absolutely. So unfortunately, we have to cut our lunch short because we already have 2 flags up now instead of 1, and we're gonna go check those out.
We just want to make it through lunch, and I guess this is a good problem to have, right, Les?
It's a good problem to have. We haven't sat still for more than 10 minutes just to eat here.
And what's that song? I got 99 problems, catching fish ain't one.
Catching fish, yeah, exactly.
All right. We just sat down and tried to have some lunch. We call this base camp. They bring some fold-up chairs. It's kind of cool. Got Noah here and Les from the beautiful town of Guilford.
Howdy.
And we just sat down. It's been so busy we can't even relax. And I'm going to pan back up, and I don't know if you can see this. There is a flag up again, and we're like caught so many fish now. We're just going to like let that one hang for a little bit because we're tired.
It's been nonstop.